Hi, I'm Sylvia Worsham. Welcome to Focus Fridays and welcome to the segment on faith, family, and focus. It has been asked of me in previous years how I went from being a top performer with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals and that life in corporate America to the empowerment coach I am today. And this is truly, truly my belief, guys. My belief in all this is life's journey is about understanding the unique gifts that God has given me and how those gifts fit in to His master plan for my life, and more importantly, how turning points can be life-changing. Growing up in a Mexican household, being raised by two Mexican immigrant parents, success was instilled at a very young age. My old identity was tied to being not only successful at work, but proving my worth. And as a woman in corporate America, for the next 17 years, it's exactly what happened. Working in pharmaceutical sales, primarily with Pfizer, and believing that if I got there, if I got the top sales awards, then happiness would follow. Because that's what was modeled to me in my childhood. Achieve to be happy. So achieving these roles in corporate America was the quest at the time. And despite receiving the top awards, fulfillment didn't follow. And not only didn't follow, it actually took a toll on my first marriage, resulting in divorce, and then finding myself as a single woman to a young son. He was about 4 at the time. It would take a near-death experience, honestly, to awaken me to the true meaning of happiness, to the purpose of my life, and to the important people in it. In 2012, on Good Friday, after spending various harrowing nights of having massive chest pain, I was admitted to St. Luke's Episcopal Hospital in Houston, Texas, with multiple pulmonary embolisms and a massive and inflamed liver. And when they did further testing, doctors concluded I had a massive blood clot. And it was not only threatening my life, it was threatening my liver and my life. And they gave me a 20% chance of surviving. 20%. My survival was God's miracle. There's no question about that. There's no reason for me to have survived multiple pulmonary embolisms when people die of one. And it started this quest, this turning point started this quest of asking myself and asking God, what is my purpose in life, and what is there left for me to do? Am I on the right path in my life? And when you survive a near-death experience, much like this one, it changes your life forever. And it changes your focus. And it definitely changes how you see life. And it started to shift my focus over to my family. My faith in God, that miracle, started that conversation with Him. And my faith started to guide me in this journey of life. And so trading off my 6-figure salary, my corporate job, my successful life, to move to Austin in 2013, start all over again, marry my best friend, my Donnie, and then have a child, a baby girl, a year later, was so worth the trade. But it shocked a lot of people because the people were used to my old identity. The old identity that was stuck in being successful and proving her worth at work, in her career. And now I had left that career behind, and now my focus was on my family, because then the more shocking thing is, then comes my retirement from medical sales and stay-at-home mom. And that really shocks people, because now my purpose starts to shift, but it's in my faith that it starts to shift over to my family. And in my devotion to my family, I start to understand what true happiness is and true fulfillment in life is. And it's a huge transition for me. Don't get me wrong. It was huge because I was the great white shark over at Pfizer, and now I was a stay-at-home mom with tennis shoes on my feet. So it was totally different. It was a big transition for me. And one moment in reflection, about 3 years later, from those moments comes this enormous prompting from God. And in my case, it's not a prompting, it's a big push, because I'm one of his stubborn children, and I need those pushes. So he pushes me, and I get this idea, this thought that comes into my mind of call your former mentor at the John Maxwell team and see if that position of speaker, coach, and trainer is still available. Can you still do that? And so that's what happens. I get on the phone, I call her, and she says absolutely. She hooks me up with the person here in Austin, and the certification process starts. And then about 3 months later, the certification, the dream becomes a reality. And I get certified as speaker, coach, and trainer with John Maxwell team in Orlando, Florida in August of 2017. And about a year into this mission to empower others, my second marriage goes through another emotional turning point. And see, it had been 5 years of marriage at that point, and resentment had built up on both ends. There were so many changes that occurred, and honestly, the emotional maturity wasn't there for me as a person. And the John Maxwell team had highly encouraged us as coaches to find coaches of our own, so that maturity and that blind spot and that clarity could occur for us, so that then we could help our customers navigate those waters of uncertainty more clearly. So one morning, after a very big fight that week with my husband, I get pulled out of bed by God, and I go to my Bible and I start reading the Bible, and in it were the words of submission, like, go ahead and submit to me and surrender to the life that I want you to lead. And so that's exactly what I did. And in that moment of reflection too, the face of a particular coach starts popping into my mind. And the question of, is this who I'm meant to work with? And the answer, yes, 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 starts popping in my mind. So it's my faith that is now guiding me in this journey again, in my relationship with Christ. And the purpose behind it was so powerful, was to save my family and to save my marriage. And so she introduces me to Growth U, and she introduces me to Transform U, 45 Days to Successful Habit, a conditioning program. And the transformation in me is so profound, and it's so profound in my marriage, that it was a natural progression to my growth journey as a coach to then become a founding growth leader with Growth U in the latter part of 2019. But since becoming a coach, it's been my mission to empower corporate professionals, in particular women, because I've been on that journey. I understand what they go through, and I understand the balance issues that go into play with family and with children, and the shame and guilt that can come into play, because I felt all that, and I understand all that, and I understand that journey very well. Everybody's journey is different, but it helps when the person that's guiding you navigate those waters of uncertainty, navigate those cycles of growth, understands what you're going through too. That there's that relatability piece to it. So in essence, my faith, my relationship with Christ has guided me all along. My purpose being, and my faith giving me that vision to become a coach. And then on top of that, my family has been my very, very immense purpose in doing this. And lastly, my identity of becoming an empowerment coach was so natural from that transgression. But it was my surrender to God. It's been my relationship with God that's really been the driver. And these turning points have been truly life-changing. But it's because my mindset has shifted so dramatically from what was important back then to what is important now, and what was really truly bringing me happiness and fulfillment. And it was getting rid of all those old belief systems that didn't serve me anymore. And so when you go through a coaching process, this is exactly what happens. We look at what your belief systems are, and are they truly serving you? So that's been my journey, guys, and how faith, family, and focus has really been a life-changing event for me, and the reason behind my transition from corporate professional to empowerment coach that I am today. So thank you so much for listening to this segment on faith, family, and focus. I'm Sylvia Worsham with Focus Fridays. I hope you have a wonderful week. I send you much love, and please tune in next week. If you have questions or any topics that you wish for me to do or create a video on, I am here to service you, because remember, Focus Fridays is focus on your personal growth and your personal journey. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful week. Love you. Bye-bye now.